You know, when you sit down, you're ready to have a study session, a work session, a just overall focus time. And you sit down and you think, oh, wait, I had that question about XYZ. I need my phone to figure it out. And so you go to your phone, all of a sudden, you're like, oh, who messaged me? Wait, what did they say? Oh, yeah, they were supposed to get back to me. So then you look at the notification and then, wait, what did that person post? They said they were gonna post today. Let me go like it. And then boop, you're on Instagram. And next thing you know, you're scrolling. All of a sudden, it's been 10 minutes. And you're like, wait, I was supposed to be deep into my study session at this point. It happens to me all the time. And I'm fully aware that it happens. And that's when I realize it's not necessarily, the focus problem is not really due to discipline. It's due to distractions. So in this video today, I want to go over some simple ways you can stay focused in a world full of digital distractions that are not going anywhere anytime soon. When you're thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, I just can't focus. I have a short attention span. It's just the way I am. Well, I'll say from my perspective, I noticed that my behaviors were the ones triggering the inability to focus. In this case, the phone would be the trigger, which is causing this ongoing distraction loop, but it's not like it was my choice. I reached for the phone to look up something, and then what happened after was unconscious. Another example for me is I have a hard time focusing with music that has catchy lyrics or even lyrics that I know. I just cannot, my mind will keep wandering. So once that distraction loop starts, it gets triggered, it's hard to stop it. It's out of your control now. And there's different methods that you could do. Honestly, you should feel free to try, trial and error, figure out what works for you. In my case, I've tried a few. The most popular one I've seen on YouTube is called, I don't know how you, this, the pronunciation, but Pomodoro. I don't know how you say it, but it's basically where you focus for a period of time and then you set a timer, say 20 minutes or 25 minutes. And you focus for those 25 minutes, you work straight, no distractions. And then the timer rings and then you get, I think it's like 5 minutes, 5 minute breaks. And so you do this every 20 minutes, then 5 minute break. And you guys can correct me on the exact timing, but the point being that you do work in bits and pieces where over time you've had a multiple focus sequences. I noticed that every time that I would get into the flow and into the actual focus zone, it would be great. I would be getting work done. It would be amazing. And then all of a sudden, the timer goes off and there goes my focus. I'd be so mad. Like, what? Why? How? The time flies when I'm focused. I can go on for a while, for hours sometimes. I don't know if that's necessarily healthy, but I'm trying to explain what works for me. This video is about focusing, right? So every person will be different, so I'll tell you what worked for me. I found that once I got distracted with the timer, I would get mad. Okay, fine, I'm gonna take my break. And then I'd be on my break and the timer would ring, like your break is up, and I would just not follow it. Instead of taking 5 minute breaks, all of a sudden it became 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And before you know it, I had only focused for 15 minutes out of the hour. And it didn't work for me. The saying that I always come back to is the object in motion stays in motion. That's exactly my brain. My brain, once it's in motion, it stays in motion. So I like to try and extend that as much as possible. So the key here is, for me specifically, I realize I don't need more structure per se. I realize I need less distractions. So the phone is just one example of a digital distraction, at least in my life. So I started to think, how can I build my focus away from these type of digital distractions? So I decided, okay, I'm going to stop relying on digital systems. I'm going to try and figure out how I can build more analog systems that I can fall back on, that I know are not as big of a trigger for me as my phone. If digital tools are the trigger that are starting that distraction loop, then this video is for you. So to me, analog productivity It just means reducing how much you need to interact on a daily basis on these digital distractions. Another big one is my planner. So I changed from online calendar to my planner, my online digital task management to my planner also. Some other good examples include, I'm trying to think, like your alarm clock in the morning. If you notice a habit of doom scrolling at night or in the morning, at night when you set your alarm, in the morning when you take off your, when you turn off your alarm. And that's another good one to try and work on, getting an actual analog alarm, and that way you can leave your phone, far away from your room. You're not doom scrolling or whatever other distraction you might have. So for me, I mentioned the planner. I can show you. This is my random notebook. It's not very fancy. I have a stack of just journals that I never use, like just collected over the years, like they're blank, right? So I didn't go out of my way to go get anything fancy. I just needed blank paper. And this one I had already started writing in, so I just thought, okay, I'll just continue writing in it. You can see it's all like dirty, whatever. But it works for me because I create my own template. I have like my monthly, I do my week by week, and I fill it in pretty much I would say like a month in advance. Um, and then I use it to actually track like list by list or item by item. Um, so for me this works, and I don't have to go reference my phone or any other my iPad or whatever to see what's next. There's no distraction. There's no digital distraction available to me when I use this. It's again, it's not aesthetic, it's more just functional. And one other thing, this is kind of just like a bonus, specifically when talking about, analog, switching to analog productivity. You might find that some of it is like soothing, or I find it like, what's the word? Like almost satisfying to, I don't know, put my own color schemes that I want, actually use all because I really like pens and like just writing utensils, like notebooks. I like doodling and stuff, and I don't know, I found joy in actually doing this analog exercise, which I didn't, that part was a surprise to me. So you might find something that you like about switching to your analog life. This for me was really good for my focus system. I noticed that I would just go on to the next thing down the list and not be so worried about falling into another digital trap where I'm looping again. When I am in the zone, I put my phone face down, put it on do not disturb, and I can easily go for maybe 30 minutes at a time. For like sometimes I've even done an hour and a half if I don't watch it. Um, I don't know if it's some undiagnosed like attention deficit thing, but yeah, no distractions. I can be in like focus state for a while. And the other thing too is I try and go to a setting where I know it's already worked for me in the past, where I have effectively been maybe 20-30 minutes working without stopping, no distraction, like not getting distracted. Me by myself, me distracting myself. I'll go back to the same spots. So like a coffee shop that has solid Wi-Fi, solid coffee. I see people around me also working. I feel like that intimidates me to also be working. Another one is the library at school. I would go, and most people are really quiet. Again, also working, and there's that like tension in the air. People like also working, and it feels like you also want to work. I think that works for me. So I keep trying to go back to those kind of environments where I know I'll easily switch into focus mode. So once I found out those digital triggers, I found out what environment I need to focus. Now it's just my fallback. Every time that I need to go study, I know I need to find those couple things to the recipe. And so once you figure out what it is for you, you can just keep going back to it. More or less, the environment is the default for focus. It's not something like I have to go out of my way to focus. It's just happens. So I mentioned that I use my planner to track lists of what I need to do. Um, for me, I kind of try and review it. And like if it's a weekday, I'll go through it every other day. Weekend, I'll just kind of skim through it. But for example, this is from last week. Anytime that I finish something, I would highlight just to keep track of what's done, what isn't, anything that needs to get moved or removed. Sometimes I'm overzealous and I try to plan too much in a single day. Um, just overall, try and make it realistic for you so that you're setting yourself up for success. And if you don't finish everything you put on your list, it's okay. Just try and adjust. The tricky part about this digital world that we live in, it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. It's here to stay. And if you're like me, where you have family and you have friends that live far, especially you have different time zones, right? You can't simply just delete your Instagram, delete socials. You want to stay in touch with people, right? So it's a matter of figuring out how you can be in control of it and not have it control you. And I feel like I keep repeating that in my videos, like, don't feel guilty like it's your fault, because it isn't. You guys, remember, the system's designed, in this case, the system is designed to keep you distracted. It's by design that you keep doom scrolling. It is made, the algorithms are built for you to keep spending time on the screen. So if you find yourself in that constant loop, just take a step back and see, what is the trigger? What can I do about it? And just work towards it. And that's it. So distractions are everywhere. They're not going anywhere. We can only do what we can within our control. It's important to set realistic expectations. It's not like when you remove these digital triggers, all of a sudden you're going to be magically, done with all your work. Like, the work is still there. There is no tool yet that can do all your work for you. So it's important to just realize that it's going to make you more efficient. It's not going to make you perfect. You still have to keep working at it and keep adjusting your process until you dial it in to see what works for you. I noticed that with these systems that I put in place for myself, not only did it make me more efficient in the work when I set time blocks to do things, I also noticed that the times that I had that were free, they were actually truly free. So I'm a lot more present. I'm not trying to multitask, doing work while I'm hanging out with my sisters or so on and so forth. It's all compartmentalized and makes me a better individual present in each of those different scenarios. I didn't necessarily reduce the work. It was more like I was reducing the mental noise that was getting in the way. If you only take one thing from this, just remember, create your own focus environment. Don't leave your focus up to chance. Identify your trigger and try and reduce it gradually. And remember, all of this is powerful, because if you're like me, you get a lot of confidence and a lot of trust in yourself when you're able to meet your promises that you kept to yourself. I was going to do XYZ today, and then you go into your notebook and you check it off. I did this, I did that, I did that. You're building your self-trust, you're building your confidence, and that's so powerful. You can actually say, I control the distractions. They don't control me. So if you want to build more systems like this, follow along. I have a lot to say about things like this, trying to control what's within your control and trying to be zen with what isn't. So follow along.